So do you guys remember the Freddie Gray tragedy? Well, there's an update on that. This is from yesterday. Baltimore police driver not guilty in Freddie Gray case. The city of Baltimore reached a $6.4 million settlement with Freddie Gray's parents to avoid litigation. That happened a little while back, but there's no disciplinary measures that are going to be taken against the driver in the Freddie Gray case. And you might be thinking, well, why is the driver, particularly culpable for what happened? Well, let me explain. So, Freddie Gray died of a spinal cord injury that he suffered during the van ride. None of the 6 officers charged criminally for their role in this were convicted. None of them. The lawyer in the case argued that the driver, whose name is Caesar Goodson, should have been fired because he didn't buckle Freddie Gray into a seatbelt, which you have to do. That's procedure. He didn't get him medical attention right away. You have to do that. And he lied about the chain of events following the arrest of Freddie Gray. So right out the bat, there are 3 things that are huge. But of course, the biggest fact is they did what's called a rough ride. Now, a rough ride, if you talk to somebody from Baltimore, they'll tell you exactly what that is. That's when the cops don't like you and they want to fuck you up. But I mean, come on, it's not like the old days. You can't just handcuff somebody and beat the shit out of them because that might be a little too obvious and a little too over the top. So what you do is you handcuff them, you put them in a van, and then you drive like a fucking lunatic on the way to the station. And when you got your hands behind your back, handcuffed, and you're bouncing all over the fucking place, guess what can happen? You can break your fucking neck and die, which is exactly what happened to Freddie Gray. And again, so this is an open secret. The police department will deny, rough ride? No, I don't know what you mean. That's not even a thing. That's made up. That's a conspiracy theory. Talk to anybody in Baltimore who's had experience in the criminal justice system, who's been arrested for anything. And in most cases, keep it real, probably low-level drug crimes. And they'll tell you, yeah, what they do is they handcuff you, put them behind your back, drive like fucking crazy people, and you'll get out of there bruised up like a motherfucker, or, at worst, with broken bones. And there's a documented history, countless cases of people getting fucked up as a result of these rough rides. So now they're saying the person who facilitated it, who was the driver, no disciplinary action whatsoever. No criminal convictions for everybody involved in this, but no disciplinary action for the driver. So, by the way, the disciplinary review board that this guy was in front of, which is already kind of hilarious because this is the equivalent of like, oh, we're doing an internal investigation. That's like, the Bush administration saying, we're doing an internal investigation as to whether or not the war in Iraq was a good idea. Hey, turns out we think it's a good idea. I know, you fucking did it. You did it. So of course you're going to say it's a good idea. This is the police department going, oh, we're going to see if the police department was right. You are the police department. What do you mean? So the disciplinary review board consisted of an outside chairwoman, and you ready for this? 2 Baltimore police officers. Don't tell me we can't do criminal justice reform. And by the way, don't tell me fucking Colin Kaepernick is wrong, because he's not. And it's amazing how the conversation has been shifted to, oh, the flag, they hate the flag. No, the reason he said he's kneeling is police brutality and injustice. So here's an example of, hey, you got fucking 6 people involved in a situation where Freddie Gray's arrested. He dies because he broke his neck because of a rough ride. Nobody's held accountable. That's why he's mad. That's why he's taking a knee. He's saying, hey, let's fix this. How do you fix it? There's a million ways to fix it, man. For one thing, you can end the fucking drug war and stop locking people up for low-level drug offenses when it's not a violent crime. If they're selling a small amount of weed or something, piss off. That's like somebody at a convenience store selling alcohol. Who cares? Oh, selling weed. Oh, criminal, get them off the street. No. Let the cops do their job in terms of, hey, you go after the rapists, go after the murderers, go after people who commit assault. Stop with the drug crimes. Fuck that. You're ruining people's lives. For what? Because they sold a little weed or they smoked a little weed? It's bullshit. End the drug war. Another thing is civilian review boards. Have special prosecutors in instances like this. You can't have the prosecutor who's buddy-buddy with the cops and you expect them to go after the cops. It's not going to happen. It's an incestual, nepotistic relationship where they all look out for each other. That's obvious. That's fucking obvious, which is why there's almost no accountability for police officers. It is super rare that any police officer is brought up on charges and found guilty. Super rare. Is it because, they never happen to do the crime? No, everybody knows there's bad cops, but they get away with it because of the system. So change the system. Special prosecutors, civilian review boards, end the drug war. These are all common sense solutions, and that's what fucking Kaepernick is talking about. And this, again, the fact that you can drive a van like an asshole on purpose, trying to hurt the person in the back who's handcuffed. Wow, oops, they broke their neck and died, and you're not in jail for manslaughter. That's unconscionable. Not only is this guy not in jail for manslaughter, he didn't even get a little slappy slap on the wrist. That's why people are upset, and that's what needs to be fixed.